Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nic unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
So I just wanted to share an interesting tale with you. I don't think it'll surprise you, to be honest.
Okay, I have no idea where you're going with this.
No, you don't. First of all, hello, Tradies in Business podcast listeners. You are listening to another episode of Fucking Friday.
It doesn't... No, let's not talk about swearing. Anyway.
Right.
Hey, gang. How you going?
Somebody I know very closely, the builder, is currently sits on a few federal government committees, advisory committees.
Are we going there?
You ready?
Should we really do this?
Yeah. Fuck it. It's
on
Friday.
The podcast. Mm-hmm. You know this goes to the public though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's about time they're here.
Well, I'll just be in the kitchen.
Right, so I'll be brave. I'll balls up. I'll stand out here and tell my tale. All on my own. Thanks. No FOMO, no nothing. You don't want to be involved? All right, it's just me. Okay, listeners. So the person I know very closely sits on a few federal government advisory committees.
Okay, I decided to come back.
Oh, I thought you would. And one of those committees is passing some recommendations around some legislation to do with the construction industry.
Ooh, saucy.
It is a bit saucy.
Is this a bit of inside information?
I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, I'm not that silly.
Okay.
I'm not that silly.
So what's the tale?
So the tale is that
they pass legislation all the time.
Okay, well, this particular bit of stuff will be organised now, but will actually take 9 years to implement on a business level.
So what, they do like a ninth of it?
I don't understand it. I do not understand it, but what I'm telling you is that's what they are told in the committee. This will take 9 years to implement on a business level, but we need to make these decisions now.
So I...
Yes.
Oh, where do I go with this? I studied politics at university.
Did you?
For 6 months of my business degree.
Was that just a compulsory component of the degree or something you chose?
I chose it as an elective.
So why only 6 months?
Because I would have stabbed myself in the neck with a pair of scissors if I'd done it any longer.
Fair enough.
No, it was a module, right? So you could do a subject, and that ran for 2 terms. Mm-hmm. Not 2 terms of government, which is about 7 minutes in Australia these days. But I chose politics because I don't know. I had something of an interest in how the country is run, and I've always felt like there is too much control and social injustice and those sorts of things. I don't know what that makes me. I think does that make me right wing or I don't know what the sides of politics are.
I still find the whole sides thing confusing. I would, liberal starts with an L, so I thought it'd be left, but it's actually right. Well, that's true too. But I don't know. I always felt, how I base this. This is going to make everybody just wet themselves with laughter. Uh-huh. I like my right hand better than my left hand, so I always figured that Labor, which is how I voted and how I sympathised when I was younger, would be right. And Liberal, who I didn't like, and I don't really like my left hand, would be left. The opposite is true. And so has my voting changed over the years. But that's kind of how I sort of felt about it. Mm. That's as deep as my young knowledge of politics went.
Yeah, well, without going into, which is the best party and all that sort of stuff, my issue with my study of politics was actually around the system of government. So, because politics is the bullshit popularity contest with all of the pollies, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of all happens, that's all the noisy bit. But what's really going on in the background is all the ministerial officers and the public service. They're the ones that actually run the country and make the decisions. Mm-hmm.
I think big business has a bit to do with this as well, though.
Well, they have an influence, but
politicians
don't make decisions.
No.
And that's the problem.
One politician does not make a decision.
But even collectively, they couldn't organise anyway. Go listen to the last fucking Friday for some references to that.
Oh, dear.
But, I mean, have a look at the state of Australia's politics.
It's embarrassing.
And then have a look at the state of Australia's government. And they are two very closely related and yet very separate things. And I know some people that work in the public service, and I won't talk about who and how and all that sort of stuff because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But if anybody knows someone who works in the public service, particularly higher up, in like middle management or any of those sort of positions, you would know that it's a bit broken.
It's a little more than a bit broken.
And, our taxpayer dollars, I don't think they're being used very efficiently or effectively by the government, all right? And yet it's the politicians that everybody gets distracted with. And we all think it's really important that we vote Labor to create a change. Get rid of the coalition party because it's time for a change. We need Labor in and we vote Labor in and then guess what? It's the fucking same.
Yeah.
And then we go, Labor needs to be given the arse, let's get One Nation or the Greens or whoever. But they're all backhanding their votes to each other and the general public don't fully understand how all that works. And in the 6 months that I studied it, I failed my assignment because I fucking hated the way the system ran. And so I actually took an opposing view in the assertions that I was making about the system of government. I can't remember exactly what the question was I was responding to for my big full semester assignment, and they failed me. And they cited some bullshit crap about references and stuff, which I thought was a crock. And basically I had to tone down my anti-government message.
Of course you did. You're a uni student with an anti-government message. Hello.
And resubmit.
Big red target on your back. So
this is third year business degree, right?
Oh, dear.
And that was where my distaste for authority and our system that we live in really started to gather momentum. So, not surprisingly, I've been self-employed pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
So, I hear stuff like that, 9 years to implement something, and it's like, what a load of crap. Why does it need to take 9 years? Imagine if a corporation, who everybody loves to hate, but they run for a purpose, and their purpose is made very, very clear, is to make a profit. That's why companies exist, right?
That's right.
And anyone who has a problem with that needs to have just a bit of a rethink about the way most of the world works. And, you can go live in a communist or social... Actually, we live in a socialist country. But, go live in a communist country and see how that rolls for you. But companies are in business to make a profit. So everything they do is driven by profit.
Of course.
So if it took 9 years to implement a decision in a company, the CEO would get shot. The management team that were part of that would lose their jobs or be cut. And yet... somehow in government, that seems to be completely acceptable.
And then my big question to him was, okay, what happens when there's a government change?
Exactly.
Does that decision not go out the window and now you've all got to reset and have another think about the decision because we need to do another study paper or get another study group in, or let's trial it for a while in this particular part of the sector and then we'll come back and we'll do another report? It just makes absolutely no sense to me.
And all of that keeps people in jobs and... keeps us paying more taxes.
I can say, so on there's two committees. I shouldn't reveal too much. I don't want to get him in trouble.
No.
But on the two committees, he's had to fight really, really hard to stay as a small business owner because it's all big business and union. So he's had to fight incredibly hard to remain on those committees because nobody's representing small business.
That is such a common story. In this country.
Small business is underrepresented in every part of what we do.
Except the taxpayer base.
Well, yes, that's true.
Small to medium business owners pay more taxes than the big corporations that everyone loves to hate, right? And the super wealthy that some of the political parties like to point the finger at and pretend that they're, taking money off. It's the middle income earners. It's the plumbers and the electricians and the builders. And, this is a big part of why you and I do Tradies in Business and the trade desk, is because I'm personally sick of those people getting fingered by the government. Not the politicians, but by the government.
Yeah.
The tax department, the other regulators, the super corporates, the banking sector, which is, it's not really private sector. I mean, they used to be government controlled anyway. Sector. And they meet with the bloody Reserve Bank governor, and it's a quasi bullshit front for the government to distance themselves from that, just like Telstra. Another government organisation that still runs like one. No one gives a shit about the service levels or anything else. There's no accountability there. So that's why we do it. Well, it's certainly why I do this. I feel like, when we first had that cup of coffee at the servo. I bet you didn't know that, listeners.
No.
Tradies in Business was hatched over a fairly ordinary coffee at a service station.
Okay, so the coffee was shit, but the conversation left everybody in tears, because it was just that, those moments of clarity that you have. I'm talking to you, Warwick, but you already know this to listeners. Those moments of clarity where you realise that nobody is on your side, in your case, where whatever it might be, that moment of clarity, and you realise, oh my God, this is what I need to be doing. This is my purpose. This is what all of this other stuff has led to. That's what that cup of coffee did.
And so here we are some 10 months later,
talking about politics.
Shit about politics. Look at us saving Australia's trades.
I know. We are trying. Trust me. We're having some pretty big conversations at the moment to get your voice out there.
And honestly, I'm gonna drop the politics thing because it just shits me. But I wanna talk to you, listener, about being a part of this change, right? Coxie and I are two people. We produce a podcast. We've got a website. We're building the trade desk, which we'll talk about shortly. Yes, we're running a business. It's sort of a capitalist country. We are small business owners just like you, so we charge money for some of the stuff that we do. And we make fuck all out of this, to be honest.
We have other partners discussed.
We have other gigs that we do to pretty much make an income.
Pay the bills. Some of the bills.
And yet this is where we both love to spend our time. And, every spare moment that I have that I'm not, earning an income elsewhere, I'm pouring it into Tradies in Business, because I can see that this has the potential, with the support of you, our listeners, our followers on Facebook and in our groups, to actually pull trades together in Australia from a business sense.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of trade organisations doing fantastic stuff. Obviously, there's the unions and there's some good aspects to that as well, as far as, site safety, work practices, some of the important stuff in the industry, but that's all very focused on the way trades are done, right? There is very, very little focus on the way trade businesses are done and the way trade businesses are treated, listened to, what services they need from the government and from the banks and other product providers. And the more tradies actually pull together and start to talk to each other and create more of a singular voice, the more that's going to be listened to by software companies, by, bookkeeping providers, like accounting firms. Some of these other industries will start to sit up and go, holy shit, this is a big bunch of people. But while we're all running around being, sort of insular in our trades, it's not going to happen because there's not enough of you to actually make a voice and make a difference.
That's right. We need a collective voice.
So that is the number one thing that we want to have happen. Wow, that was a bit of a soapbox, wasn't it?
Really was.
But I really am. I'm reaching out to you as our listener. You're probably one of 3 people listening to this episode.
What are you talking about?
Okay, 4. But get on board. Join the conversation in the Facebook group. Don't just sit back and watch. You got to do something about your future and your kids' future. And we want to give you a voice. So, we can't do this on our own.
No.
Anyway.
Well, we're trying.
Yeah.
But no one's listening yet, so we need your help.
There's some people starting to notice Tradies in Business, the brand. We're getting approached a lot more by other companies that can see what we're doing, and the feedback we're getting is very, very encouraging. So we want you to be a part of it. Now, I'll make no bones about the fact that, as I said before, we need to make some money to keep this going. And the way that we're doing that is through the Tradies in Business trade desk. Now, I think we've made it an absolute no-brainer, and that the value proposition is fantastic, and we've done that on purpose. So Coxie and I have put a shitload of work into the materials that we're constantly loading into the trade desk with video training, sharing our 20 plus years of experience in business. We've got templates and scripts and stuff you can download and start using straight away. So there's no locks or anything on those once you join. We do a fortnightly Facebook live Q&A, so you get live access to myself and Coxie. You can post your questions beforehand and get them answered. There's other epic tradespeople in that group, in the trade desk membership area, that are doing really good stuff out there in the industry. There's some guys and girls in there that are literally voices for the industry. They're on television and doing all sorts of cool stuff. They're trade desk members. And so you get access to them as well as your peers. And we've got some really cool partners that are coming on board that are aligned with our vision and our purpose behind all of this, that are giving extra value to our members. So if you register before the 2nd of April, which is next Tuesday, so you don't have much time.
Nope.
Head over to the website, click the trade desk button, find the link there, and register. You will get your first 2 months for just $2. That's like stupidly cheap. You can quit after that if you want. So you can pay your $2, steal all our shit, and then go. But we know you're good tradies, so you probably stick around for a while. Probably after the 3rd month. After that, it's just $49 a month, and you get all that stuff that we talked about. But if you register before the 2nd of April, we'll also throw your name in the hat, and we're going to draw out one tradie in business who's going to get a full 12 months access to the trade desk, which is worth nearly $500. And all you have to do is pop your name and email address in there, and you're in.
That's quite a monologue there, Was.
Whew, I want to roll. And it's actually tipping down rain outside.
It's storming. There's thunder.
Which is fabulous.
The dog can get out of the rain, can't he?
Because my washing is still on the line.
Oh, well. Good thing there wasn't too much.
Anywho, yes, that was a bit of a dialogue. Sorry, I kind of took over the microphone. It was like a race call.
Never done
and they're
that
coming down the back
before.
straight, and there's 25 to go, and it's... Yeah. So, give us a hand.
Here he goes again.
Give us a hand, listeners.
Yes.
Get on board.
We need you. Come join us in the group. Come and have a chat. Tell us what you think. Is it storming where you are? That would make it even more exciting.
Yes. Are you getting any rain? Finally in Australia.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
They have been teaching that Australia is the driest continent on Earth for a long, long time.
It's very bloody dry.
It just happens to be really dry at the moment.
And it's really hot this week. It's been so hot.
All the dry weather is actually really good for the trades.
Yes, it is. That's a good point.
Except the lawnmower men and women.
Sorry, landscapers.
Yeah, landscapers would be doing it tough. But everyone else is loving it.
Yes, that said, I don't think the trades are doing particularly well right now at all. And that'd take us straight back to politics.
Well, government has a big part to play in that, don't they?
Well, I just think the uncertainty is making spending dry up somewhat as we wait for the coming election.
Yeah, and it frustrates me, and it makes me really sad that people think a change of government will actually change anything.
Well, it should really, shouldn't it?
It doesn't. The system's busted.
I agree, but the point of their fear is that once upon a time it did change things.
It used to, and we've had some fantastic leaders in this country, and whichever side of politics you're on, there's been leaders from Liberal, from Labor. That's probably it. We've had the Keatings and the Hawks and the Howards, and there's been all sorts of scandal and stuff, but not the piss weak shit that's going on now.
No, it's quite pathetic, and it's
There's no strength.
I'm bound to get ranty, but I won't.
Yeah. Anyway, so I reckon we should band together, get all the tradies in business together.
We could start a political party.
Bingo.
Tradies in Business Political Party.
Tradies in Business Australia. We've even got the name. And,
just need
and
a
I reckon
Clive Palmer
Nicole
type
is the right
advertising.
person to run for Parliament.
They wouldn't stand me in there.
No, I couldn't go into the lion's den. I couldn't do it. I've seen people change.
Yeah, I think it would change you. I really do. I think it would be very hard to remain true to who you are and what you believe.
And I think you'd have more of an impact as a non-government organisation lobbying for change and using our collective might economically to actually get policy shifted by the public service, not by the politicians, right?
Right, so this is our plan, 5-year plan.
War cry.
Is this what we're doing? We're going to start a non-for-profit.
Battle
and we're going
plans.
to go out there and slay the dragon.
Yeah, a lobby group. Tradies in Business Australia.
It's a bit right-wing, isn't it?
What do you think?
Bit right-wing,
do you think it's got legs,
left-wing?
listeners? Give us your thoughts. Hit the Facebook page, Tradies in Business. This is Waz and Nic from Tradies in Business Australia, the non-political political party. And yeah, make sure you check out the Trade Desk. We do appreciate having you listen to us on a regular basis wherever you are. And we love to get feedback. We don't get as much as you think we do. So please send us your messages, send us your questions, and just let us know you're out there. Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Anybody out there? All right, I've had enough.
Talk to you soon.
Hooray.
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.